What makes someone instantly unattractive in your eyes? Lack of personal hygiene. Long time ago, I met this girl at a bar. She was super cute. She was super hot. We had great chemistry. Bar got more crowded. Bar got more louder. Couldn't hear her as well, so we had to talk closer. She leaned in to talk closer and I smelled something awful. Awful. I tried to ignore it on account of she was super cute and she was super hot. The stench was still super strong. I pushed through because I am a man. I brought her back home. We kissed. I took off my clothes. She took off her clothes. Her vag reeked. I tried to push through because I am a man. I could not. She reeked. I had to stop fooling around. I told her I had a tummy ache and I couldn't go on. She left my apartment. My sheets reeked. Littering. Too much posting on social and fishing for likes, compliments. Having a "you're either with me or against me" attitude. I've never met someone that conducts themselves like that who also aren't toxic in many other ways. Talking badly about their friends behind their backs. Bad attitude. This one guy always stick in my head for this. I met him in a store while I was just browsing. And he came up and commented about something I was looking at, noting that he also liked it. So then we started chatting. I was totally open to it until he asked what my main interests were, what shows, movies I liked, and everything I said. He'd respond with "Hey, that's shitty," and went on a rant about how awful my taste was and how amazing his was and that he should educate me. But at the same time, he kept hitting on me. Like I was supposed to be impressed that he was shitting all over everything I liked and basically acting like some kind of real life tsundere asshole. It was so off-putting. No sense of humor. They take themselves way too seriously. They think hating on everything makes them edgy or something. Narcissism. It makes me want to slap the narcissist and then everyone who encourages it. Maybe this is a more common issue because I'm still a young adult, but people that feel the need to be overly edgy. All their jokes need to be as offensive as possible. Satan this, Satan that, etc. Don't get me wrong. Good dark humor joke or using taboo isn't a bad thing. But there's diminishing returns when shitty you can't say I'm public is the norm. Where do you even go from there? When you realize that they only care about themselves and not other people. Lack of curiosity. Arrogance. Irresponsibility and a lack of hygiene. Complainers. Especially those that are always the visitman stirring up drama. I immediately separate myself from negative people. Mean to animals and people is customer service. Full stop. A mirror. When someone is rude to waiters and stuff. Cigarettes. So there was this woman I knew back in the day. I'd been around her for 3 years at that point. Had gotten turned down early in our friendship. But we kept hanging out and I always carried the torch and would have loved for her to change her mind. So one time she was driving us for a night out and she pulls into the parking lot right in front of the place downtown we were going. A very tiny lot that never has a spot open. I'm surprised about even bothering to try instead of parking in a deck a block away. But maybe she'd find a spot. As expected. The lot was full except a singular remaining handicap spot and she just parks on in it. She opens the glove compartment. Grabs what I find out was her uncle's handicap placard and hangs it and just gets out of the car. So that was how I no longer felt sad about being turned down by a big crush of mine back in the day. The one-upper. The person who feels like it's their duty to one-up you on everything you say. They slept even less. They had a worse headache. They had to wait longer or had to pay more. Whatever. They aren't really listening to what you have to say. They just can't wait to tell you how much more their experience was. Someone who is clearly looking to gossip from the moment you meet them. It seems like in every movie you get the person who moves to the smaller town, new school, new job. and they meet the person who is clearly going to be their sassy best friend. And they walk them around and give them all the lowdown on the sly about everyone around them. We are always supposed to see that as some kind of a camaraderie building scene. But if I were the lead in that movie, I would know to stay away from that person. The instant someone else new comes to town, you're going to be the one they are dishing all the info about. If they take their shirt off during parties and start fist pumping. People with bad tempers that blow up over any little issue and use intimidation to control the situation. Not putting the shopping cart back where it goes and instead leaving it to block a parking spot. Not liking animals. Racism. And the Dutch. When they're rude to animals. I don't read and they are proud about it. You don't have to be a literature bug. But being proud of not reading. Instant nope. I can't even be friends with them. Arguing in bad faith. Or mistaking every conversation as an opportunity to debate. Public video chatters or public FaceTiming. Even the speakerphone conversations. Parasites. Lack of sense of humor. Drunk person. I don't mind people drinking. But I can spot alcoholic from distance and if person don't know any limits. I grew up with alcoholic parents and I hate it. My partner don't drink at all and I get drunk maybe once or twice a year. I don't mind drunk people. But I am annoyed by people who won't shut up about how much they've had to drink or ones who only seem to talk about their drunken stories. I am someone who enjoys having drinks with my friends. But the conversation doesn't need to be all about alcohol. Someone putting on a facade. I'm very good at picking this up and it is super frustrating. Stop overreacting and trying too hard. Just be yourself. I totally agree with you. But I also sometimes have to check myself when I feel like accusing someone of doing this because I've found that occasionally, definitely not always, the facades are empaths and can't help but understand and reflect what's around them. I still try to get to know them as them. But I realized that sometimes who they are and how they relate to the world is by reflecting it back in understanding. Being hateful towards cashiers or waiters, waitresses or people of that nature. Self-pity, I can't abide it. One of the most destructive emotions to entertain. Shitting themselves. There's just no pleasing you. Is there? Caitlin Bennett has entered the chat. Main factors are lack of understanding few basic things. Health. Attitude. Ethics. Sense of understanding. Effort. Bad breath. Being rude or aggressive. Wearing a mask under your nose. Jealousy. Insecurity. IDC if I'm being mean but weebs. It's annoying for them to view anime as some holy stuff. I mean I do love me some anime but are there people out there that think it's the best thing to ever exist? Grown adults who are obsessed with TikTok. Pedophiles. Smelly armpits. There's truly not an excuse to smell bad when there are so many products and concoctions that help you to not smell bad. I just can't. My eyes get teary and the gag reflex starts to warm up. Smoking. Vaping. Blackout drinking. Lack of hygiene. Obesity. Never shuts up. Open mouth chewing. Compulsive buying, hoarding. Chronic irresponsibility. The list goes on. I wasn't expecting to be attacked so early this morning. Being fat. Unclean or too woke. Using the word woke as an adjective.